I'm supposed to be talking about today is about how to adopt, I think, a positive mindset as a businessman, woman, or as an entrepreneur. And that is hard. And I think I wanted to, kind of go off script a little, because I think the word I would prefer to use is a growth mindset. And I want to use my life, my story, my attitude towards work, my attitude towards life, my attitude towards friendship, to encourage everyone and to really show you what growth looks like. And, if you watch the news and you watch, these business reports and everything, the growth curve, it points up. Or sometimes it's a bit zigzag and, it's not quite, it's never a straight line, that's one thing. But also, the curve can be really, really flat. So it's just one straight line. And I want to encourage everyone, because at that time, when it feels like it's one straight line and you're going in one direction, that's exactly what growth is. Let no one fool you. Let no influencer, let no shiny things, let Beyonce herself not fool you. Sometimes we all have our really, really low points. And I'm someone who has personally experienced these low points. Just the definition of the growth mindset, because I think it's important in order to just embed that in our thinking right now. The definition I found for growth mindset is this, before I continue to tell you my story. A growth mindset is a belief that one's abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. Those with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, and believe that effort and practice lead to improvement. This mindset promotes resilience, perseverance, and a willingness to take risks in pursuit of success. I'll end there because I think that is the most useful bit. Tito spoke of consistency. We know that is very important. And my brother, Mr. Chiango, spoke about discipline, which is also very, very important as part of adopting a growth mindset, which, as I say, is really challenging if you're doing business in the Cameroonian landscape. Apart from water shortages, you have electricity cuts. So power cuts, you have traffic. What do you do if you're a supplier taking your goods into Douala and you experience that really harsh, impossible traffic at the entry? Do you give up? Do you continue? Do you use the technology available to you to make a call, to let the client know that you're running late? What happens when your employee calls you and tells you that they're sick and that they cannot come to work today? Do you tell them, oh no, this is impossible? Or do you think about the best solution to do? Do you downsize the order? Do you call the client to say you might not be able to deliver? And those are some of the things, especially for those who are pitching today, that I want you to bear in mind. As the lady said, I am CEO of the Commonwealth Education Trust. That is not a job title I really enjoy saying. I don't like using director either. I call myself the servant-in-chief. And I do this for one reason, because first of all, I honor the journey that brought me into that space. I went to secondary school, went to University of Boya. Shout out to all my Boya graduates. And I decided after the second year that I would go for an adventure. So I left. I quit. And bear in mind, I'm talking about growth. And I went for an adventure. I went to Germany. And 2 years later, I called my mom and I said, I'm coming home. And she sat in her car and she wept because I was coming home empty-handed. But guess what? For a brief period, I had, my peers had the knowledge that I was living abroad, I was living a good life, but it didn't work. As I say this, I want you to also bear in mind the messages my colleagues have given you, because it all forms a bigger picture and it brings more value to the event. And so I came back to Cameroon. I tried to get a job. I thought once I was here, things would work out. And they didn't. And so I decided that I would leave again. And so I decided to go to the UK, went to an embassy, took a visa, went to the United Kingdom, came back again. And that was after 6 months, because I decided that I was not going to breach those rules. And then I returned again. And when I returned, things took a different turn. I ended up getting into a relationship which resulted in a marriage, and that enabled me to move back permanently to the UK. But fast forward, my career was something which I needed to think about. Remember, I dropped out of school, so I had no degree, so I wasn't qualified. Everybody else had a piece of paper they could take to an employer and say that they have this and that. But for me, the opportunity came under very hard circumstances. And that opportunity was coming to a building such as this and being put in a room such as where our audiovisual person there is sitting, and being given a pile of paper and a pile of envelopes, and they said, stuff. So put the paper in the envelopes. And I did that for 2 weeks. Every morning I showed up and I did just that. But guess what? After 2 weeks, they said, oh, we have no more paper and envelopes for you, Betty. I said, okay. They said, well, but there's a space upstairs. Come, we'll give you a desk. Just monitor these emails. I'm saying this because remember, it's the growth mindset. So wherever you might be now may not be where you might be tomorrow. What your business might be experiencing now might not be what you will be facing tomorrow. Fast forward to that. Marriage didn't work. Continued trying to get jobs. But then I realized that I was 38, unqualified, and I needed a different skill set. I needed a different toolbox to enable me to do better. And so I went back to school. I enrolled to study economics and business. Graduated 2018 with my very first degree. And then I had to start from scratch again. I went into an assistant position because then I had removed myself from an environment that was no longer serving me. And I knew I had to grow. But in less than 8 months, I was promoted to an officer role. Within that officer role, I decided to serve a lady whom I had stalked online. She was a celebrity, well off. And I stalked her for a very long time. And she did not respond to my messages. And I said, and I've shared this story with Shirley. And remember, it's the growth mindset. And one day, a year later, I walk into an event. And there she is. And so I walk up to her and I say, mais Noëlla, je vous ai envoyé des messages et vous ne répondez pas. And then I said, oh, I'm very busy, and talking in French. And well, I really wanted her attention. And I said to myself, how do I get this woman to listen to me? So what I did, I approached her. I said, I can volunteer for your organization. And she told me, would you? She said, yeah. She ended up spending an hour talking to me. And remember, this is growth. But I'm going to work for her for nothing. But I knew I needed that experience. Noella took me to an event after about a year of volunteering. At that event, she was being honored. And I was there as her, the same Cameroon Alain Joker, I don't know. But after that event, the CEO called me. Said, Betty, we love your energy. Would you serve on our board? And I said yes. I became a board member of the Commonwealth Education Trust in 2020. And after that, 6 or more later, that lady who called me to join the board resigned her position. And while we tried to find someone to replace her, the board appointed me to lead a team of 4. And remember, that straight line is not failure. That is growth as well. Thank you so much, everyone.